Hey, what's going on, family? It is Brother Coasty at 𝐈𝐴LLG, and welcome to the Path to CEO Operation Free Tie. Before I get started, I want to let you know a little bit about myself and my vision for the future. What I do is I help solopreneurs implement systems and processes so they can become business owners in 30 days. Now, when you watch this masterclass, you'll realize what I mean by business owner, because there's a distinct difference between a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and a business owner. Okay, so I want to just throw that out there so you understand who I am and what I do. My bigger vision for the world is I'm creating leaders. The Path to CEO is a training module that I'm creating so that you can understand exactly what you need to do to get from where you are to where you want to be on a global scale. Most people have big aspirations for the future. They're not so sure how to get there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the presentation. So here we are, the Path to CEO Operation Free Tie. And when you get a chance, I'm going to let you all know what free tie really is. I'm going to hit on it a little bit in here, but that's just, my overall mission, my overall goal in short. This is lesson 1, learning the scalability formula. So what is scalability? Scalability is the degree to which you can leverage value to replace effort. In short, it's successful and efficient automation. So when we're talking about scalability and why it's so important, you are limited with the resources and the time and the energy that you have from day to day. The idea of scalability is getting your organization from this big to getting it bigger and bigger and bigger, make it huge. But how can you do that when you are limited in nature and limited with time? And I'm not talking about your potential, but I'm talking about your energy and your resources that you have available right now in the present. And the question you need to ask yourself is, how much of your organization can you automate, and how efficient is your process? Now, the process is a very big piece of this. So we will be going over that actually in lesson 2, but you need to understand that you need a process and it has to become automated for you to achieve the maximum success that you want. The benefits of scaling, right? And that's really what that's why we're here in the first place. That's why we're on a path to becoming a CEO, because there's benefits involved in becoming a CEO. And when you do this correctly, these are the benefits that you can receive. These are the benefits that you can reap. Benefit number 1 is an aligned schedule. Most people become solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, because they want to make an impact. They want to live life on their terms. They want to do things their way. Well, oftentimes, especially right now, if you're watching this training, if you're already going to get value from it, you have to realize that you're not having an aligned schedule, because you're probably facing burnout. You're probably facing confusion sometimes. You end up at the end of the day saying there's not enough time in the day. Well, that's because you're not in alignment. And that's what your purpose, that's what your passion, that's what your process, that's what your business is, really what your overall life. So if you learn how to scale correctly, you will have an aligned schedule. Benefit number 2 is free tie. So T.I.E, time, impact, and expression. Everybody wants free time. They want to have the time to do what they want to do. They want to have the freedom to impact in a way that they want to impact. And then everybody wants freedom of expression. So the way that you express yourself, what you bring to the world, and the way that you want to bring it. If you're working a 9 to 5, no diss to you, but you're not expressing yourself unless you're in the way that you want to, unless you're in your perfect dream job. And even then, most people, if I ask you, are you completely happy on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you a 10 out of 10? If you can't say that, well, you don't have freedom of expression. You don't. And that's what free tie is all about. Number 3 is you become productive. The benefits of scaling is extreme productivity. A CEO is extremely productive, and there's a fine line between productivity and busy. You're busy most often as an entrepreneur, solopreneur, when you don't have processes, when you don't have systems. You're busy doing things, kind of managing certain things in your business, or tweaking this and tweaking that, and there's no real flow. You don't get into a flow because you have a big to-do list. And you're going, I got to do that, got to do that, got to do that, got to do that. But when you're productive, what you're being able to do is you're able to slow down. You know exactly what you need to be doing, exactly what you need to be working on, and exactly what you can do to make the day a win. You get to save money when you start scaling because you become efficient. Realize this: when you're not efficient with your time, you miss out on money and you waste money. How? Well, when you're not efficient with your time, you're doing things that don't get you in front of your customers. You're doing things that don't allow you to express or share your gift and your talent to the world, right? But what happens when you're productive? You get to save money because you get to make more money. You get to save money because you're not using those monthly subscriptions that you may have when you're not effective, right? So a lot of people have, ClickFunnels and Calendly and Zoom and all these different monthly subscriptions so that they have the infrastructure for their business, but they're not using it effectively. So money's just going out every month just to upkeep it for one or two clients that you may or may not close. Now, this is the reality of it, right? So when you're productive, you know how to utilize your time efficiently so those monthly subscriptions are able to be used, okay? And the last thing is you get rid of the overwhelm. As entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, typically we're overwhelmed because we're wearing all the different hats. We're the accountant, we're the bookkeeper, we're the technician, we're the receptionist, we're the scheduler, right? You're the shipper if you have products. There's a whole bunch of hats that we're wearing, and we get overwhelmed because it's like, when do I get to take a breather? When do I get to take a break? They told me entrepreneurship was all about freedom. And you realize once you get into it that that's not always the case if you don't scale properly, if you don't have processes in place to automate your business. So scaling, and where are we doing when we're scaling? We're going to understand the transition that we're going through, and we're going to look at the cash flow quadrants. This was made famous by Robert Kiyosaki. So I'm going to read off the screen, and then we're going to dive into it just a little bit. It's pretty self-explanatory. And if you haven't heard it, this is something new, so pay attention. Everybody typically starts here as an employee. You have a job, 9 to 5. Somebody's telling you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. The next quadrant is self-employed. You own a job. You're self-employed. You own your business. Well, you not business, but you own your organization. You own your effort. The third quadrant is be business owners, right? So you own a system that works for you. And this is where we're going to really hit on in just a second. And the last one is investor. So money works for you. These are all different ways that you bring in cash flow, right? These aren't just titles. These are your cash flow quadrants. So how are you bringing in cash to you? How are you funding your life? It's either employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor. An employee trades their time for money. The self-employed exchanges their time for money. They just are able to make more money depending on what they're serving or selling. The business owner is changing money for money or systems for money when they do it correctly. And an investor is changing money for money. They're putting their money to work. We're not worried about employees right now. We're not worried about investor. We're going from self-employed to the business owner. You own a system that works for you, okay? So there are 4 quadrants for bringing in cash flow: employed, self-employed, business owner, and investors. As solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, we must move to business owners as efficiently, effectively, and as fast as we can. This is imperative. So you're not stuck. People say that, you own a business, but really when you're self-employed, typically your business owns you, right? Number 3, the difference between a self-employed individual and a business owner is a systematized process. What you're doing, a lot of your business can be automated with the right process. Everybody understands funnels. If you don't know about funnels, you definitely need to stay to the end to see what I can do to help you figure out this process and implement it into your business. And if you already know about funnels, you still want to wait to the end so you can learn more about that. There's 4 levels of an organization, right? And I say levels, but it's more like steps. And this is where you're in the creation process. So number 1, you get an idea and you have an audience for it, and there goes your product. The product is created. It's basically out of thin air, out of an idea. Number 2 is the second level, and this is typically where we start businesses. There's clarity, and then a product that equals demand. Clarity on what? Your audience, right here. How you want to deliver it. Clarity in product equals a demand, right? So now there's a product and a demand for your product. You're going to end up needing a system. You're needing a system, especially if you have clarity down pat. And then a fourth level is clarity plus your product plus your system. You have time freedom now. You're free to do what you need to do and as you please with your time. Notice system is the big component here. But let's talk about solopreneurs and entrepreneurs for just a moment. Most of us are here on these two levels. You're trying to increase demand or you have too much demand and you need a system. When you need to increase demand, you probably don't have clarity. Or your product is not in alignment with your audience, which means you still need clarity. Or your product is great, the demand is high, but you're only so much, so you run out of time. You need a system. Okay? This is the land of business owners and CEOs. They have clarity, they have the product, and they have a system. Now they're free to do as they please. See, having a system is what separates a job from a business. This is the first thing you must have on our real path to becoming a CEO. Automation is time freedom. And now, the scalability formula. It's pretty simple. It's clarity plus a perfect product plus a system equals time. You can check any of those areas for why you don't have enough time. If you're not clear, that means your product probably isn't perfect and your system is inefficient, so you're not going to have time. If you got clarity, but you still don't have time, it's most likely that your product is inefficient or it's not in alignment with your vision, your clarity. Or if you got clarity in a perfect product, but your system is inefficient or you don't have one, you won't have time. So you need all three working together, and there goes your time freedom. This is the importance of time if you don't know. Time means you can express yourself better because you'll have more clarity. You'll have more space to get clear so you can figure out what you want to express. So time equals more expression. More expression means more impact because you've thought about exactly what you want to say and what you want to do. More impact means you have more clients because you know exactly who you're going for, what you're solving for, and how to deliver it. So now they're coming to you. With the more clients, this means there's more demand. More demand means more money one of two ways. Number one, you either have an inflow of customers, so you're selling more of your product, or number two, there's more demand that you can fulfill, so you raise your prices. More money. And guess what happens when you have more money? You have more time. How do you have more time exactly? You have more time because you don't need to do as much to sustain your lifestyle. Remember, this is not about scooping all the money up in the world. This is about sustaining a lifestyle. And that's what most people don't realize. You don't need to make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 immediately. You need to make enough so that you can sustain your lifestyle and you begin to scale up from there. Once you realize you have, when you get that understanding, you'll realize you just need more time so you can think clearly, so you can have a bigger impact. That's the key. That's why we're on the path to CEO. So you need to know the flow. What you need to create scalability. Know the flow. Clarity creates space for a solution. That's a product. Clarity in a product equal demand, and meet demand with limited supply equals system creation. And this is the time. This is how much time you're busy as you're going on your entrepreneur journey. Typically, you start out and you're busy about 75% of the time. And when things aren't working, because they usually don't at the beginning, you got to tweak some things. You go to frustration mode and you're busy 83% of the time. There's burnout, there's overwhelmed, there's stress at the end of the day. Oh my God, there's no time. There's not enough time in the day. I didn't get everything done. How am I even going to make time for calls? But when you understand that you need a process, you get clear on that process, you're only busy about 42% of the time. You start getting some of that freedom back. And then when you get a system, you get systematized, you're only busy about 17% of the time. The rest of it, you get to build customer relations, you get to network, you get to go out, you get to spend time with family and friends, you get to do the things that you see people doing, but nobody teaches you how. This is how you make a system. It's that simple. And this is the common problem. So if you didn't already understand what you just received, boom, that's the secret to becoming a CEO. Make a system, make a process. Now I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen right now. And if you're still here, you're in the winning game right now. The common problem is there's a disconnection from vision. So most solopreneurs are going to go get the nuggets from the training and go running, attempting to make a system for themselves. This is the hiccup that most will run into by doing that. The core issue is still not addressed, which is their vision. Clarity is typically lacking, not just in their business, but their life. You got to get really clear on things. And this is the question that you got to ask. Who do you really want to serve, and how do you want to live your dream life? If you can see something just popped up on my screen, that's because I have a system. I don't have to worry about certain things. I don't have to be reminded every moment of the day what I got to do next. My systems tell me. So you got to get clear, though. Who do you really want to serve, and how do you want to live your dream life? Most people have not figured out what their dream life is, and this is why you feel burnt out, stressed, overwhelmed, and you end up giving up eventually. It's the truth. So you getting down to these roots can be quite difficult. And however, shameless plug, but this is why I'm doing this. I've created an inclusive boot camp, an extensive boot camp just for this purpose. You'll get templates and guidance on building your business in alignment with your purpose and ideals, and truly enjoy the life that you're dreaming of. So if this is resonating with you after this training, go ahead and click that button so you can get the templates and the guidance that you need. See if you qualify for the program. So I want you to select the button. Let's see if you qualify for the program. And this is a quick overview of the program. We have 3 phases. It's a 30-day stretch. It's a 30-day run. We're going after it. The first stage is reconnect. The second set is restructure. The third set is redirect. So the first 10 days of reconnection, we're reconnecting with our vision and our purpose. We're finding our strengths and what we're great at. We're answering these questions, what and why. So during this process, you'll get templates and worksheets to complete so you can see plain and clear your why. For business, and most importantly, your life, if you don't understand your why in life, you're going to be running in circles. You're going to get burnt out. The second set of 10 days is restructure. So we begin building your systems and help you get clear on the processes you need to succeed in your field and in your life. This is answering the question, how? So life operates in flow, and to that end, if you're going against yours, because everybody has a particular flow, you will forever struggle. You will construct your own way of operating. In the third stretch, the third 10 days, we begin our transformation, or really we end our transformation by clearing out the crap in our systems and processes for life. I say we end the transformation, but that's the transformation from going from A to B. This third set of 10 days is more like going from B to embodying B. And this is all about doing. So remember, your organization is a reflection of you. So if you aren't where you want to be, it's because there are things that you entertain that aren't serving you. That's the journey we're going to take together, family. If you choose to apply, if you qualify, and you go on this journey, we're going to go through all 3 of these steps. You're going to get clear on your vision and your mission. You'll be able to figure out what systems you need. You'll get the systems. You'll get the processes that you need to have. And then we'll solidify all of it into you becoming a different person. You'll transform into a higher version of yourself. Your business will only go as far as you go within. It's a reflection of you. So family, go ahead and click that button. Let's get started. Let's go and apply so I can help you get to where you know you want to be. Peace, family. Thank you for attending this masterclass.